Okay, man, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. It's a pleasure meeting you, and you allow me to come and tell your story. I'm excited to talk to you today.
Thank you.
Won't you tell me your name, the name of your business, and where you from?
My name is David Green. The name of my business is called Phoenix Black Lifestyle Management. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan. Lived there for the first part of my life. Then moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and then made my way out to Phoenix, Arizona in 2000, and I've been here ever since.
Cool. You have an amazing story, and I can't wait for you to start talking about it. But your business evolved from your many talents in addition to necessity. Won't you talk about the different services that your business provide?
Phoenix Black Lifestyle Management. I provide concierge services. I provide private chef services, personal training services, and personal assistant services. The easy way to explain it is I'm the Swiss Army knife in most busy professional lifestyles. People have, most people they're good at a certain thing, and a lot of times there's things that become tedious, or things that they need to do, things that they have to get taken care of, or things that they may not want to do, and they need a little assistance. And so with Phoenix Black Lifestyle Management, originally my idea was people used to live and die by the maid and the butler. That's how they were able to operate. Well, they don't live like that anymore. We don't have live-in maids and butlers, but in today's society, the busy professional needs a lot more assistance than what people needed in the past. So I was working with the former head coach, Bruce Arians, and I was working with him as a private chef and caterer. And one weekend he called me over and said, "Hey man, he's like, why are you still working, with this organization, And I told him, and he was like, "You need to start your own business." And he's like, "You got talent, you got skill set, And I told him, I said, to be honest with you, I got $60 in my pocket. I said, I got about $300 in my bank account and about $150 at the house that I haven't deposited yet. I didn't have any money to start a business and didn't really know much about starting one." And he said to me, "No risk it, no biscuit." He said, "Man, if you don't take a risk on yourself, nobody else is gonna take a risk on you, man. You gotta get out there and get your own scratch. Otherwise, you're gonna always be waiting on somebody to hand you a paycheck for what they think that you're worth." And so, that's how Phoenix Black Lifestyle Management began. I started looking at different things that I could do to help people in different areas of their lives, and I had a pretty good, a good group of people that I knew, other entrepreneurs that had services, and I knew that I had some services that I could offer, and so I just had an idea and I just took it and ran with it.
Okay, let's go back a little bit, because what's amazing to me is that you not only had an ideal for this business and the services you wanted to provide, but you yourself have a talent in each of these businesses. Let's start with the chef part, right? Tell me about your journey as a chef, because you're not a trained chef.
No, everything
but
has
you
been.
got the skills. You gotta let everybody know that you got the skills.
Yeah, I do.
So how did that evolve in your education in that realm, and how you were asked to do catering for other people because of your natural skills, and how you incorporated that in your business?
So I learned how to cook, from my mother. My mother, I used to just watch her, years. My mom was a mother of three, single mom. And she used to work all the time, and my mother used to call me and tell me how to make something over the phone. She said, "David, I took a chicken out. It's in the refrigerator right now. I need you to take it out, and I need you to take it out and open up the package." And then she taught me how to cut up a whole chicken for part by part over the phone. And one of the things over a period of time, I just learned how to do different things. And my responsibility was to get the dinner ready while my mom would be at work, and I just put the food in the oven so when she came home, she had something to eat. But after that, man, it just kind of grew on me. I started learning how to cook and do different things, and I got really interested in recipes and how different things, were created. You always see the finished product, but there was a lot more that went into it, and I just kind of took a liking to it. Then it got to a point where, as a job, I needed a job. I had we all go through different chapters of our life. I went to prison. And when I came home, I was trying to find my way. And there's a lot of places that I couldn't go get a job, and I was trying to figure out how I was going to be able to support myself. So I got a job working as a bouncer when I first got out, working at a bar. Met some people at a bar, ended up getting a job working over at the Cardinal Stadium, working as a bartender, which turned into me getting a job working as a bar manager at a restaurant that they owned. And that's how I met Bruce Arians and his wife. I started talking to them. I didn't know who she was. She was just sitting at my bar, and we had a conversation. I ended up talking myself into a barbecue at their house. And that's kind of how I started catering, on a larger scale, was through that conversation. But I had always, my friends they knew I could cook, and they used to bring stuff over to the house, like, hey, we'll go to groceries, you throw this on the grill, or you make this, and I just kind of did it that way. And but after I got out of prison, and I needed to be able to try to survive on my own, the cooking really came in handy.
So you just pulled out you just pulled out what you knew.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was.
I understand that, having a knack for cooking is one thing, but there's a lot to be said for someone who can make meals and prepare food for other people on demand. That's a totally different thing. So although it sounds like you had, natural skills and, through growing up and stuff, you still had a talent beyond that. It sounds like. So you just seized on an opportunity and arose to make it a business.
Yep. And it's funny because I never knew I had it. It just kind of evolved. Somebody asked me, I've never liked to tell people no. If it's within my power to do it, I'm gonna make an effort. And I've always done that. And so, when opportunities present themselves, I always try to take full advantage of them. And so, the small cooking turned into cooking on a larger scale and a lot more detailed cooking and things of that nature. It just kind of took on its own, took its own course, and I just kind of ran with it.
That's what's up. So we got the catering, cooking part of your business. You also have a concierge part, right? Where you basically provide administrative assistance, personal assistance to your clients. Talk about how you got into that part of the business.
I saw a need, busy professionals needing help with different things. Everybody has something that they're good at. People who are rich or who are wealthy or who are successful, they got successful because of something that they're really good at. And I found that these busy people, in order for them to be successful, they had to be able to have time to do what makes them successful. And so all the little tedious tasks that, I call me the little people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, they still had to deal with them too. And I just, I thought to myself, like, what if I created a system where somebody could call on one person and I could be that one-stop shop that kind of takes care of everything outside the spectrum of what they need to be focused on. And just using the resources that I have, the people that I know, and make it all happen. And I just tried it. And what happened was during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of the catering before that, and because of when the pandemic happened and they had to shut down, and they made everybody you couldn't go to no public gatherings, no meetings and things like that. I had events that I had on the books, and I had to refund people's money for weddings, family reunions, and different events and things like that. And it got to the point where I was trying to figure out where my next dollar was going to come from. So the cooking always ends up coming back that way because it's something that I can do with my hands, and and I can be creative and use my own mind. And so I ended up back I started with the cooking, and when that shut down, I had to figure out what I was going to do. And so I had this business idea that I had started, but kind of put it on the back burner because I didn't really know how I was going to go about it. And I started volunteering my services. I volunteered my services. At the time, I had a friend of mine who she worked in hospice, and I would volunteer to help do little things, little errands, because a lot of times people in hospice, their family isn't here; they may be someplace else, and so they needed help, grocery shopping, moving things, different of that nature. And I started doing that, and I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it, but that niche of just helping people, because I've always, wanted to help people. Like my goal in life has always been to help people to get to that next level, and people, and to have an impact, to have a positive impact. And so I started doing those things, and as I started doing more things, I got more ideas, and I kept trying to find my niche. Just using the resources that I have by being able to connect them with the things that they need, and at any given time. So that kind of came into play, and I found a couple of clients to work with, and I've been able to do things like I took a family of 24 people to Maui last year, and I was their concierge for 10 days. They didn't lift a finger. There was 17 kids, and the rest were adults. And I cooked every meal for them. The kids needed a Band-Aid. The kids needed an ice cream cone. Kid tore their shorts. They needed a boogie board. Didn't matter, whatever it is. I would make sure that they had everything they needed for 10 days. And
so let me ask you this, because I'm hearing in the background of all the amazing things that you were able to make happen for yourself. A sense of resourcefulness, that something that you draw on to make things happen, right? Like you, perhaps because of your upbringing and your experience, you just snap into whatever it takes to solve a problem. Like you know how to solve.
It's survival. That's what I think it is for me. It was always about survival, because there came a point in time where I didn't have a choice but to use my resources to survive. I had a unfortunate situation where I ended up homeless, and thank God, for family. My son and I. My son, he saved my life, and I say that, and I mean that with the utmost sincerity. I was in I had a situation where I ended up working for a guy, worked for him for 5 months, and I didn't get paid. And just in hindsight, you always get everything in writing, and I didn't, and it cost me big. The car, they were trying to repo my car. I was trying to hide it in different places so they didn't take it from me, because at that point I was living out of my car.
Yeah.
And just trying to be, I had to be resourceful in order to figure it out. And when it was all said and done, the cooking, the concierge work, the things that I knew that I could do with my own hands, is what got me out of that situation and where I'm at today. So I take pride in being resourceful. I take pride in being able to solve problems, because when problems were stacking up on my head, I needed to be able to find a way out. And now, I use those resources to try to do the best that I possibly can to help my son. I give him, the props and for having the intuition that he has. But my son sensed something was going on, or something was wrong, and my son had took a look in my car and saw things just didn't look right. I had my dog in my car, what I'm saying? There's a pillow, there's some stuff in it was going on. And when it was all said and done, man, my son, this is like, Dad, like, why wouldn't you tell me? This is what's going on, you know what I'm saying? He was like, you come and stay with me. And so I lived with my son. I literally slept on his couch until we decided to move in, and we decided to rent this house that we're in together. We moved in as roommates. He's a, grown man, fully. I mean, like I said, I can't speak enough about him, and what the impact that he's had on my life as an adult. That he was able to help me out of that situation, and because of that, and we've been able to, I've been able to maneuver during this time, be able to build my business, build my brand, and have a roof over my head in order to be able to do it.
Yeah, it's rough. It's not easy. The financial responsibility of building a business and all the things that go along with that. But then you have your personal life too. You still got to eat. You still got to keep the lights on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's a perfect segue back into the other services that you provide, because you not only do catering and personal assistance, you're also a bodybuilder and fitness trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about that and how you incorporated that into your repertoire.
Man, so the bodybuilding kind of came into play because I was honestly trying to save a relationship. I mean, and
there's always
and I'll be honest, you know what I mean.
You needed the girl.
Yeah, I needed, for the one specific girl, and she was had been in the fitness industry and doing some things, competing for quite some time, and from that person who's on the outside looking in, and you don't really understand all the things that come along with it, I kind of felt I was being left out, and I was being, ignored. She was putting all her time and energy into the sport in which she was competing.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
I realize that takes a lot of.
There's a lot of things, and so I didn't understand all the ins and outs of it. All I knew was that I wanted to take my girl out to eat and take her to go get a steak, and she couldn't eat a steak, or she couldn't go do this, or she didn't have time for this because she had to go to posing, or she had, this diet that she was following, or she had to be at these different places. And so, it's one of those things, if you can't beat them, join them. And so
let me stop you right there. Now, you're an adult at this point. I mean, you're grown man.
Grown, yeah. Well into my 40s.
You look like you're pretty yoked up already.
At the time, I wasn't.
But you weren't really interested in bodybuilding. Did you lift any,
I was lifting, yeah. I was lifting weights. I was going to the gym and everything else. But the problem was I was going to the gym and then going to McDonald's. I was going to the gym and going to go get a pizza.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So the two didn't really balance. The nutrition part of it was not anything that I was interested in.
Gotcha.
You couldn't even really talk to me about it because I got good genetics.
There you go.
That was my thing. I got good genetics, and age also comes into play too. You know what I'm saying? So as genetics, as good as they may be, you keep eating bad and your body is going to start to show that. So, things were going, kind of south between us. And so what I did was I wanted more time with her. I wanted more time, in trying to save this relationship. And so I dove headfirst into the bodybuilding. Well, didn't save the relationship, but what it did do was it changed my whole perspective on life, because the people that I was meeting while I was getting in the fitness industry were helping me to see things from a different set of eyes. And it had such an effect on me that the benefits that I got out of it, I wanted to share that with other people. And so then I decided I wanted to get into the fitness industry, and I became a personal trainer.
So one of the unintended results of you having this relationship and getting into bodybuilding is the health part of it, and how you saw other people in their fitness journey, right?
Oh man,
lack thereof.
And that is the most inspiring thing, and I think what kept me in it was, while I was on my fitness journey, I was meeting other people in different parts, or in their fitness journey. They were, there were people who I saw who were completely out of shape and overweight, that had decided they were going to change that. And I was watching them show up every single day. I was watching older people who, what could very easily, they lived good, fruitful lives, and could be sitting on the couch enjoying their life, not doing nothing, but they were getting up every day and showing up in the gym. And I started developing relationships and talking to these people when I went to the gym. And then I got an opportunity to hear their stories. And I understand what drove them to show up every day. And I started looking at it like, if these people can show up, so can I. And then as I started looking at things more and more, I started to understand just how important the small things that you do can change your health. 30 minutes a day of doing something that's heart healthy, how much that gives you longevity. People really don't understand it. And I think that for what it's worth, a lot of people who haven't done things for a long time, they feel like they can't do it, like they're too late. I've already been doing this, like I can't turn it around. Well, I have found that my bodybuilding journey has impacted many people, and they've gotten up and decided to do things to try to help change the course of their lives. And I never knew that what I was doing, that people were actually paying attention, and that it was having that type of effect on people. And when I found out that it was, that really hit, like it changed my whole perspective of why I was doing it. And I started looking at it from a different reason. And I said, you know what, man, like this might be what God has been trying to push me to do, to help people in this way, along with the other things that I'm doing. And so it all just kind of came to fruition. And I was like, under this umbrella of what I'm doing, like everything that I do is a service to help somebody.
Yes, absolutely.
And what better service than to help somebody to try to live a healthier, more fruitful life? So now I split my time between cooking for people and training people in the gym and helping people with their own personal different things. And I enjoy it. I wake up in the morning every day thinking about what I can do to help somebody. And it's what drives me. I mean, literally.
So, definitely each of the areas that we've talked about so far is of service to other people. And it does take a certain person to dedicate themselves to that. Because I'm sure you got some clients that are probably...
And there's some tough ones, you know what I mean? Every client is a different personality that you deal with.
Right.
And then the one thing that, there's times that I thought to myself, like, do I really want to do this, or do I really enjoy this because of the different things that I have to deal with? But one of the things that I've come to understand, and it's a big thing to me, I've really tried to understand people, especially in these last 4 or 5 years with everything that's been going on, and understanding that everybody has something going on. We don't know what's going on with them behind closed doors. We don't know what they're dealing with. But for the person that actually comes in and they're trying to do something to better themselves, you know what I mean? All I want to do is try to be supportive of that in whatever which way I can. If they're trying to better themselves physically, if they're trying to help better themselves in business, if they're trying to do something to help improve the quality of their life, if they're trying to help improve their mindset, whatever I can do, whether it's something that I do personally or whether I can, you know, point them in a direction and network and connect people together to help them, that's just what I do. And that's what fills my, that's what fills my cup.